Sierra, Onyx's daughter, and because it's Tuesday, I've got our Tuesday team training call for you today. So enjoy and make sure to subscribe.
Aloha everyone, welcome to Tuesday training. Today is June 7th. We are halfway through our year and today we have a very special guest. But before we go into that, I want to kick it down south. Actually, not even to south. I guess you're kind of across the top over to Rhode Island.
Straight across, right? Yes.
Miss Onyx.
Good morning, Miss Sheila. Welcome. So welcome everyone. We're going to have a fantastic call today. We're going to feature Mary Lou, and you're going to love her. She's beautiful and bubbly and just lots to share, and been working her business consistently and persistently. So I know it's going to be a good call. LifeWave had the biggest month we've ever had, and last week was the biggest payout they've ever made of any week in the last 18 years. So you know what that means. The business is flying, which is really great. I just hung up with the president of LifeWave. She's talking to me a little bit about convention and what's going on. I think we already have 900 people registered for convention, so it's going to be a beautiful event. She's got lots of fun announcements that will be coming, so I'm very, very excited. And then, of course, everybody shows up. David has a new product, and everybody keeps asking me, Onyx, what is it? And I don't even know. He'll show me some something he's done in his lab, but he doesn't tell me what the product is. I'm like, David, what is it? And he's like, Onyx, you're a network marketer. You'll probably tell somebody, not me. So I don't know what it is, but everybody who shows up at convention, I don't know if we'll be given one or we'll be given an opportunity to purchase one. That part I'm not sure of, but that is coming for everybody that shows up live. And the other thing is, Sierra and I did a giveaway a few weeks ago on we did it on the new YouTube account, and only 6 people sent in the email from the winning. So we're going to do it again because I still have 6 sleeves to give away. But some of you all suggested we should have done it actually live. If you weren't there, you couldn't win a sleeve. So we're going to try that. Remember, we're learning all this new technology together. So we're going to try that. So if everybody will put it in your, pencil it into your calendars. We're going to do the drawing, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, June 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. I've got 6 sleeves of X39 to give away. And in order to win this time, you're going to have to be on the actual YouTube channel live. So you'll have to deal with us, and Sierra and I will be figuring it out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay,
well,
so
you guys did great last time doing it, so you'll do great.
We're getting there a little bit, but everybody's been loving the YouTube channel, which is great. And the team is just rocking. It's been fun, and it continues to be fun. So I'm looking forward to being able to squeeze everybody and give everybody a hug at convention. I know there's so many new faces that I'll get to meet. Like, I haven't seen Sheila since what? 1, 2, has it been 2 years or 3 years when we were in Vegas? Yeah, so I'm gonna get to give Sheila a hug, you guys. Wow.
I'm so excited.
I know, right? So it'll be great. Okay, so I don't want to take up any more Mary Lou's time. This call is going to go for 45 minutes today, just so that you all know. And without further ado, Sheila, I'm going to give you the floor. I promise to be quiet.
All right. Well, Miss Mary Lou, if you could unmute yourself. Welcome.
Hello. I am so excited.
So Mary Lou, can you tell us just a real quick bit about how you got brought into LifeWave and where you're at right now? And then we're going to start. I'll open the floor as soon as you're finished and ask questions of you.
Okay. Well, I got into LifeWave about a little bit over a year ago. And I was actually doing a presentation myself with a different product, and then Bob Campbell actually did the presentation right before myself, and he did like a 5-minute presentation. My presentation was like 40 minutes, and then afterwards I saw most people go into his direction. I'm like, what did he say? I'm like, what the heck is this product? And he said, first thing he says is, can I patch you? I'm like, no. No. I'm like, no, nothing goes in my body. I thought, no drugs. He's like, no, it's a non-transform. I'm like, yeah, right. So I didn't actually let him patch me. He's like, I'll buy your product. I really want to do that, but let me patch you. I'm like, well, let me research it first. So he gave me a sample to take home after I researched it. So of course he gave me like 2 X39s. And of course I researched them. I'm like, I told my husband, here, you put it on. You try it first. And so he had a really bad bursitis in his elbow and he couldn't golf. And literally he put that on and seriously, like a half an hour later, he's like, oh my gosh, I think my arm is getting better. And by the next day he was golfing and he thought he'd be out for like 2 weeks. And then I had one more left and I'm like, you know what, maybe I will try it. Let me try this. So I was a researcher type of person. I'm like, okay, it's no drugs. So, and then we just took, from that point on, I had a back issue, a lower back, and it worked on that. And then all my kids, and I like slowly presented to my friends and family after I researched it. And I was like, after that, it was like, okay, this is definitely the real deal. And so, he's involved, comes up to me, goes, well, you should do this as a business. I was like, absolutely not. I'm like, no, I'm busy enough with the other business. I have no time. He's like, well, if I could tell you how to wait not this many hours and make more money than you're currently making. I'm like, okay, and I told him, I said, okay, I'll give you 30 days. I'll do exactly what you tell me to do for 30 days. He's like, okay, it's a deal. And that's kind of how I started. So
wow.
It's been a great adventure from that moment on.
Well, Bob is just a wonderful guy, and I'm not surprised he was persistent.
So you guys, if you have people like that, like me out there, don't give up on them. Just give them a couple of days and they'll come on to you. Trust me.
There you have it. Okay, well, we're going to open up the floor. Who has a question to ask Miss Sandy? I'm sorry, see, I'm looking over here at Sandy's picture. I'm sorry, Mary Lou. To ask Miss Mary Lou.
If you want me to ask a question, I will.
Sandy?
I usually like to wait till we got some things going. Well, first of all, it sounds to me, it's so nice to meet you, by the way.
Thank you.
One of the questions, because I'm new to this world, right? I'm only 2 years old, so I might be seasoned in other things, but network marketing, like I had to learn to listen, not talk, right?
Right.
So I'm listening with the ears of a newbie here.
Okay.
I had no idea how to get organized, and I still work on it. So I'm just curious, do you do everything in text, digital, paper? Do you have anything to share on just, okay, I'm going to do this now what? It's just like the very beginning.
Yes, good question. And everybody works things differently. You have to kind of have your own system, but what works for me, I'm more of a paper person. I'm kind of old-fashioned that way. I do text people, things like that, but my follow-up, I write everything down. I actually, at the beginning, I do my list like everybody else, I'm sure on this call has done a list, but I actually write a lot of information. When I talk to somebody, I actually take a lot of notes as I'm talking to people. So I remember what I tell them. And if they have a specific ailment, I write that on there. And then so I remember. So I've been in sales for a very long time. And so obviously, I know Onyx has said this before, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So I do a lot of listening. And so that's actually a key, because usually if you can, let's see. So when they're telling about an ailment or anything like that, I'm constantly thinking, okay, how can I help this person solve their problem, right? Or their ailment. And so I write that stuff down. So then, everybody wants to know that they were listened to and heard. And so as I go back and talk with them, I'm like, okay, so you're saying that your arm's been hurting you and you have bad sleep or whatever. And so they understand. So if I could solve that, would you be interested in seeing how we can solve your, issue? Let's work together on this. So I kind of do that. But as far as the organization, so I write everything down, and I write like when I should contact them back. So I usually have a calendar, and I write everything like the follow-up. I'll say like check back in 2 days with her if I send her samples. I keep everything organized. I don't really do, some people probably kill me for saying this, I don't do Excel sheets or anything, because I'm just not good at it. My downline is great at that, and they follow up so good with that. I do like the In Touch app I follow up with, but as far as being organized, as far as the nuts and bolts, I logistically write people's names down. I write down on my calendar when to follow up with them so I can keep track of them. And I have like a little index card on everybody that I talk to.
Oh, you have an index card. So
Yeah,
you have
I'm old-fashioned.
all right. So you have a book as well. So is each conversation that you write down about somebody on the index card?
I have a person on the index card, and when I contact, like if I get a hold of them, I'll write down, like I'll call them on the certain date, and I'll just keep like a running thing on that index card on them with their ailment. I have like if I sent them samples, if I patch them, whatever I did, I will keep but it really does help because my memory, I don't know about you guys, my memory is not the best sometimes, especially if you're following up with like 50 people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to get some system. And I'm trying to see if I have it. I might run and get it in a minute. I have a card that when I do belly to belly, I actually have a sheet that I actually check off real quickly what I patch them with. So it's a really easy system. And I go through that. And so I know exactly what I patched them with, exactly what I sampled them with, whatever. And if I sent samples home, if I didn't send samples, I just patch them. Everything's on there because it can get really confusing. I understand you definitely need to have a system that's good for you. I know a lot of people are very computer savvy and they have everything on an Excel sheet and spreadsheet and everything like that. I'm not good at that. I know what I'm not good at, and I'm not good at that. It would take me longer to do that than just to write it out. And I've done that in my sales. It's probably because I've done sales for so long. I just do what I was always taught to do. So that's my system.
Mary Lou, do you contain your cards? I mean, like this is, I don't use, this is not for that, but so this is how.
Like the old fashioned, yeah.
Okay.
And because even when they call me, like for instance, we've done a lot of belly to belly events lately with my team. I've been really training my team on how to do different things that they wanted help with. So we actually, between belly to belly and the office workroom that we've been doing the last 3 weeks, we've enrolled about 45 to 50 people this month itself. So
wow.
Yeah, and about at least 12 amazing builders. And so with that kind of growth, we have to be organized, Sandy. We have to keep things set. And so those two, between the belly to belly, training them the right way, and it's all about listening once again, and just knowing what their needs are, and try to, once you can solve their needs, they see the value in it, and it's just a win-win for everybody. It just kind of flows very naturally.
One last question about this, because this is kind of what I'm playing with now. The cards, do you organize them alphabetically or chronically?
I do alphabetical.
Okay, so it's not like, oh my God, who did I speak to last week? It's like you have to remember. You have to remember the name of who you spoke to, right?
Well, especially if we felt like if they call me, I'll have it right there. Like they'll call what I do. Oh, what I forgot to tell you. What I do, I put everybody in my phone.
Okay.
Right away, every lead goes in on my phone. Their phone number, and I put where I met them. So I have groups. Say I met them at a farmer's market or an event. I'll put exactly where I met, and I can pull that event up. So when they call me, I'm like, oh yes, and they'll usually say, hey, I met you at the farmer's market, and I'll pull that up, and all their names will show up. So I know where they came from. So everybody's always in my phone. When they call me, but they're on my phone already. And so it gives me my job, and put everything in my phone. I put their number, their email, and I actually even put on the notes on there, I put exactly what I patched them with, and their ailment was. So if I don't have them with me, I get calls when I'm in my car all the time. And their number, of course, will appear on here, and I'll just scroll through their contact or info as I'm talking with them, and it's right there. So they think I have an amazing memory. So they think I remember everything. They're like, oh my gosh, you remember? I'm like, of course I remember you. Of course I do. So, but I have everything. So this is the other thing that I do keep organized is my phone. I put even the note section. That's critical for me because I literally just read it right off. I'm like, oh, how is your shoulder doing and your son? I mean, I put every detail on here. So it's actually, this is if I don't have it, because you're not going to carry that little box everywhere. That's just like my backup part, and so, so I was like, but this is my lifeline here. Because
all right, so when I meet at a convention, may I see your phone?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You will love to see. Yes, I will tell you exactly all of it.
Thank you.
It takes a little bit of time at the beginning, but it's well worth it. If you can take a couple of minutes out and input everybody really quickly, it really does help. It's well worth it.
Mary Lou, Onyx asked, and then we're going to go over to Beamy, but Onyx asks, how are you interacting with the belly to belly at events?
So specifically, Mary Lou, how are you setting up your stands? Are you selling patches, X39 patches? Are you just patching people that have pain? And then I'm guessing you have a piece of paper or something that you're taking their information for everybody you yes. or one of your team is interacting with.
As I'm talking, I'll see if I have it with me. I have a little thing here with all my
cool.
right here. But Yes, so belly to belly. So okay, I'll show you the sheet, and as soon as I find it, I'll show you the sheet.
Somebody sent me a picture of you, by the way. I think it was this weekend at an event. So the stand looked beautiful. You looked great.
Oh,
So you're
it
doing
was
a wonderful
huge
job.
event.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of events because my team now. Remember, guys, you don't have to do events, but it's something that we're comfortable with on my team, and I train people if they would like to do it. It jumpstarts your team very, very quickly. I have ranked people this weekend themselves that just started. They're already manager and almost director from this weekend. From 1 to 2. Yeah, yay! I know.
We love managers.
I just ranked 15 people this weekend. So that was good. And so how I do, so the logistics of Onyx is asking, what are the logistics? So I set up a table. I put the tablecloth on. I have some, and if Onyx, I don't know if I can also share when I can figure out how to do this on the computer. I actually had some things made, like frames, like prints made up, and one said, like, depending on, I kind of tailor what I put out to the audience that I'm having. I had a lot of doctors at this one, quite a few doctors and MDs, and they were all basically functional doctors or whatever kind of doctors. So I actually had more of the science on my table than sometimes I have. So I had a QR code that they can actually goes right to the patents and science studies. So if the doctor's walking by, they can just go like that. And I'll run off in a couple seconds. When she's closing it, I'll run and get some things so you guys can actually see what I use. But
Thank you.
So I do have like 5 different prints I put up. If one of them is like pain, of course, because they even have pain. So I have one with pain, one on David Schmidt. I have one on him that has a QR code to get to his bio. And then I'll have I did some military things very recently, and I had a PTSD anxiety print also with the sleeves that they should order for that. So that's kind of how I set my table up. I put some empty sleeves on the table, so you know we have more than one sleeve, like more than the X39. I keep it very simple. And then I have, like I said, I made up these cards that have all the patches, because if you have never done an event, it can get kind of crazy if you're not organized. It can get insane. I had 4 people with me at this weekend, and literally, this is no lie. We started at 7 in the morning. We didn't get until 8 at night. I never sat down once. I never left the table. All 4 of us were like that. So it was packed, and they were all waiting to be patched or get more information. So we patched a bunch of people. And honestly, when you're asking, do I patch and sample? If I patch them, I don't give them samples, plain and simple. I don't. So I patch them, and I tell them to walk back and come talk to me in a couple minutes. And I actually, as I'm talking to them, their pain usually goes away. I think I patched about over 100 doctors this weekend. And I would say 70% came back and told me that their pain was gone.
Nice.
Yeah, and they had never heard about LifeWave before. And so I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so the interesting thing is how often, like if we stop in a doctor's office, how often do you think we would get to see that doctor by just stopping in? Probably almost 0%, because you have a gatekeeper at the front, which is her job. And so you might be able to leave your card and maybe some information, but I don't know if you can obviously talk to many of them, but in this atmosphere, they all came up to me and they were amazing. They were so enthralled by this product. And so I kind of let the patch work for itself. I always tell them what I do is I tell them flat out, my job is to introduce it to you guys and let the power of the patch work for itself. And that's kind of what I tell everybody when I patch them.
Mary Lou, you said that it's the specific thing that caught my mind is the bio on David. Do you have a sheet actually standing in a frame with the bio on David, and then you have the code?
Yes, and I have a QR code on the bottom, and I'm seeing if I can find it real quick. I have a QR code on the bottom as well. So if they want, and especially that was really effective was the one on the science and the QR code, and it went right to the patents and the science. It took them right to that study. So a lot of them wanted to see the sign, some of them, but I would say most of the clientele that I dealt with this weekend were a lot of ER doctors and a lot of ER nurses, a lot of that medical field. They just love that they had the science with them right there at their fingertips.
So would you be willing to put the PDFs of the science and the David bio up?
Yes.
That's something that I'm actually looking for easily. And if you've already done it, I don't want to redo it.
Leslie, if you're on here, if Leslie's on here, she is my little, okay, remember I told you guys I'm not very good on the computer, right? But
Okay.
so she has been gracious enough to work with me on this, and she has all the PDFs. So if you're on here, Leslie, please help me do that.
So if somebody, if either you or Leslie, Mary Lou can get it to me, I'll put it on the team Facebook page for everybody to look at it later.
And this is just kind of a big version. I don't know if you guys can see this well. It has all the sleeves on, and it has their contact information on the top. Okay. And it has a date, and if I patched them or I gave them samples. I have a little version of this that I put, they're like more of the like 5 by like what a 4 by 5, what are that, like 5 by 6 cards or 4 by 5, whatever, the little cards like that. But it's so easy because it's so hard to write everything down when you have people waiting in line who like to remember their ailments. So what they do is they fill out their ailments, and I just really check off what I put on them, patch them, and if I happen to give them samples, I'll check it off. And so it's a very this I just came up with pretty recently, and it's been a lifesaver. It really, and then for leads, I just take these back home. And I know exactly, and this is what I put on my phone, by the way. I put what I patched them with, what their ailment was. And so everything comes off this sheet, which has been
fabulous,
helpful for me.
And
yeah.
Beth asked, do you put it on the point of pain or on the back of the neck when you're going to give them that one patch?
Point of pain.
Point of pain. There we go.
And I sometimes, and I don't know if everybody's gonna like this, I sometimes will, if it's a pretty chronic pain, I will patch them with more than the X39 on the spot. Just because I don't, and I tell them that up front, I tell them that I don't know their body. I like, usually the X39 will just work right away for them, but since I don't know what's going on in their system, I want to target it right away so they can see how the patch really works. Okay. And so they understand that. I say that literally to every single person.
All right.
Every single person, that's what I say.
We're going to have Miss Beamy ask you a question now.
Well, Onyx took most of what I was going to ask about. I was so tuned into that. I'm very much all about events as well. I've done many in the past, and I'm wanting to gear up more. I'm investigating some right now. So I have a couple of other questions about what you did, because I know you were here in Atlanta. In my backyard. I was not at that event, but I know you were here. So,
yes, I was.
So, when you're setting up your table, what kind of signage do you have, like behind you or the floor to the pull up? What do you use?
Okay, I use 2 different banners. I use I don't know if you're familiar with the basic banner from Sally. It has like the logo and has bullet points on what the X39 does. I think I have a picture. It's basically a lot of has a kind of a thing like that, and then it has bullet points on what we do. And everybody's seen that banner. I have that one. I have the large ones. I have the big ones. Okay, and the other one is one that I came up with a friend of mine. I think Sally's also doing it. This is in the X49 and X39 performance bundle, and it looks just like this is a sheet of paper, but the banner looks like this. It has the 2 people on it, and it's this actually is like the banner. Actually, now I look at it, this is the banner. And that's also another big banner. If I had to just pick one banner, I do this one. If I have enough room to do 2, I will do both. One like the one in Atlanta, the one we just had this weekend, which was amazing, by the way. We had the performance pack one behind us, and we had the other one right a caddy corner right by our table. And then I usually just have a clipboard with these with those things that I check off with that little form here. I have that on a clipboard with a lot of pens, and I have a stack of those. And so I have that, my cards, and just it's a really simple table, you guys. I don't put a lot out. I put these out like in this little like brochure holder. I put this, and I have brochures on that I made up on this. And then I try to make up a few samples of the pain protocol that if they have chronic pain, so they're already made up, so I don't have to take time to do that. And so I have like maybe 5 or 6, because typically when those are big events, I don't send a lot of samples home. But some people say like for my wife, or the doctors are like, well, my wife couldn't be here, can I get some samples for her back? And so I obviously do that. So I already have some made up, so we don't have to do that right at the last second.
Mary Lou, when you're telling Beamy the post, she's asking about the signage behind you. Are you talking about like at Vistaprint, there's these ones that come in like a square tube and then you pull them up and they stand up, or is it something different?
They're the ones that you pull up. They're about 6 foot at least, and you just pull them up. and you hook them up. And I know Sally on our Start X39 Biz, you can get a hold of Sally, and she has them already made up, and she already has all the graphics and everything. She's got like 4 that you can pick from. And I just picked I made that, this one was a new one that I think she now offers it. This one we came up with, and then I do the science one as well.
Beautiful.
I just had them on hand, and my whole team actually, if they're in different areas, I got them for a lot of my team so they can do their own events. Like I have people all over, so they'll have their own little set.
Okay, I have another question. So you have your team there, and how do you go about, say you have 100 leads, how are you going to divide these up? How do you work it with your team? Because I know this is, are you paying for the booth, or did your team
Very
pitch?
good question. Very good. Okay, so I do a variety of things. For some of my newer people, I will help them pay for it, or I will pay for it, just depending. Some people, sometimes we split it all if they've been a little bit more involved with LifeWave and they're more experienced. Some of the ones that are just getting started might not have the financial means, so I will pull that up, and that's up to individual. But after that, so how I decide how to separate the leads. Basically, I have a talk with all of them in a group before we have a little powwow, and my team gets along amazingly well. They truly support each other. I love my new team; it's amazing. And so the people that, like for this weekend, I just told them before, I'm like, okay, guys, this is how to work it, so we're all on the same page, because you do want to do this before the event. I don't care how often you think they're getting along great. You have to kind of set it like so everybody's on the same page, so everybody knows what to do about the leads, because face it, everybody wants to build their business, everything like that. So we want to be fair to everybody, right? And so I had a discussion. Exactly what I said was, this is how we usually work this, and this works really well. The people you talk with, put on that little sheet of paper that you patch them with, put your initials on it, or something like that. If somebody just happens to come up and nobody would talk to them, they just fill the form out, we'll separate those at the end. I actually give all my leads up. I separated between all 3 of them. So I'd say I had 4 people. I was one of the 4 that were working this weekend. So I had quite a bit of people, obviously, that I patched. At the end, I just literally gave them, just randomly gave each one what I did. And so, but then they got their own. And we were very gracious. And I had a talk with them that night, because it was a 2-day event, which is a little bit different. And then you might want to remember to do this. So you have a lot of people that come the first day, and they're the same people because it's a big conference that they actually have to pay for. So they're usually there for both days, right? To listen to the speakers and everything. So we touched a lot of people that first day. And then some people I think Onyx had asked me the question, do we sell things right on spot? Do we enroll them? We did a combination. We sold some right on the spot. We had a lot of enrollments. We literally had, on this one, I think we had over 20 actual enrollments actually probably 25 from this event, actually enrollments. And then we found builders and everything. But the most important thing on a 2-day event is the next day when they come back, because a lot of them were coming back to enroll that next day. And say, for instance, the 3 people, somebody would have been in the bathroom, or somebody might be watching one of the speakers, and they come back. I had them ask them if they had talked to somebody the day before. Okay, we had all agreed, because I think that was the only fair way to do that. And because somebody was like not there the next day, maybe in the bathroom or a lunch break or whatever. So my team was amazing. We are very, very ethical, and I love that with my team. They all asked everybody, hey, were you working with somebody yesterday? If you were, let me go ahead, and they would mark it, like they would mark the name on it and make sure that they got that. Okay, so we all did that. So that was not an issue. I think, and even they said afterwards, and then even since I drove, we actually, even just to make sure that nobody overlapped on anybody, we all seriously, and that was their idea to do this, which is amazing. They all said, you know what, let's go over everything to make sure we don't have an overlap of somebody. So we don't want to confuse the customer to begin with. That's the number one priority. We don't want to confuse the customer. They don't know how MLMs work. They think if they talk to one person at the booth that maybe, they don't know how our system works, and you don't want to confuse them. So yeah, so we went one by one, and everybody said who they were working with, and they looked through theirs. We only had one overlap, and then that person said, you know what, you had a much better connection with them. You take that person. Like literally, that's exactly what happened this weekend. So great question. But I think if you talk about it earlier rather than later, you don't have any issues. And they're all, they're on different teams and everything. So it was not a problem at all.
I love it.
Okay.
Well done. Great teamwork, Mary Lou. Great teamwork.
Thank you.
I have another rolling question on
Of
this.
course, Beanie does.
Yeah, I got one
No,
too.
because I'm really into this and I know these issues that come up because I've done it. So I'm following your trajectory. And one of the things I was going to ask, and you hit on it, is about enrollment. So when you have somebody who's ready to do that, you know, there can be a lot of explanation, you know, which kit, which patch, especially if you're working with doctors and they get a bigger kit and you want to customize. So do you go over to the side? How do you do that? Do you show them a PDF with all the patches so they can choose?
You know what, Beanie? I make it incredibly simple. I did not even show them one. To tell honest truth, I mean, I don't know if I did it right or wrong, but they seemed to work for me. I didn't show them any PDFs. I talked to them. I said, what would you, so they asked me, what do you think I should get? And I'm like, and I told them the reasons why. And that's one thing I learned many, many, many years ago when I was trained by some of the best people in the world. You know, I was trained by like Brian Tracy, all these people that were very good, and I just do it naturally. So what I was doing was say, I was really listening to them, what their ailments were. And I said, okay, if I understand you correctly, you have this ailment, the most value for your, you know, I never say price. I never say cost. I never say price. I say value, because it is a value. It's not, somebody will always undercut people. I'll say the best value for me, for you would be this kit. I said, I don't know anything about your budget, but this is where you, if it were me, this is what I would be buying to get everything that you would like. And so, and then if I make sense, and if I talk to them and solve their problem, people don't usually have the price. I didn't get one price objection at all. And I sold mostly golds, gold kits and a few silvers. When I say my team as well. And so, but I do push them over to the side because we have this one table and there's all this stuff going on. So like somebody's talking to the left, somebody's talking to the right. I was talking kind of in the middle section. And so I was actually writing down, and it really helps to have that, the sheet that I showed you that I made it with all the things, because I just showed them. I'm like, if they did the pain, I'm like, that fits right into a silver pack perfectly. It's exactly what they need for pain. And I say, hey, the other thing that I just patched it with, everything fits in this pack is $2.99. And then they're like, okay, that sounds good. So I made sense to them. But I logistically did that. We all did our own. And we did have some time. I mean, sometimes it would take 10 minutes, honestly, or sometimes 5 minutes. And that's a long time. But and the people were waiting, they would like, I would like say, excuse me, and I would get them filling their paper out there. And like some people were enrolling and writing their information. And then I would just kind of say, I'll be with you in a second. This is what, you know, I said, we have a couple of different kits I'll go over with you. But honestly, I didn't really, and I had the order forms, but I really, they were just writing their information on the order forms.
And Mary Lou, I have a question that kind of wraps all this up too.
Yeah. Okay.
I just, because it ties in with what you're asking. How do you find these events? I mean, you're talking about a doctor's event that you were at. I love events. I mean, I'm serious. I love doing that stuff. So what do? Do I go state of Hawaii conventions, events, doctors? What am I going to do?
So I tell my team, and there's a flip side, don't waste your time on events that are not our demographic. I have a lot of my people that were just doing anything, and you know, it comes through just learning, but you know, you don't want to waste your time, money, or patches at this point on people that, I mean, if you have nothing else to do, and maybe the small farmers market, you know, if you want to do it, great. But as far as our demographic, it needs to be a health and wellness situation to begin with, and you can find those easily in your town. You look up health and wellness expos. There's always some going on. I got tied into an organization, so I'm actually like the LifeWave rep for some of these organizations that travel around with the doctors, and they're all different organizers. So you have to do a little bit of digging, you guys. You have to do some digging. You really do. It's kind of like what, you know, like the more you get into, like even the vendors, and this isn't critical. When you do these events, your best prospects right there are the vendors. I hate to say,
Yes.
they're the vendors. So if you can go early and get your booth set up quickly and walk around and, hey, how do you need any help or whatever? And you start talking to them, because you're there all day with them. Remember, like the one I happened to be at, there was a lot of sessions. So we had some time. And then when they broke, we were like bombarded, right? And so, but if you have a little bit of time, you talk to the vendors, and remember, they're entrepreneur mindset. So they're very in tune to, but the other thing is, we all help each other. This whole group that we've been going around with, and they'll tell me, oh, did you hear about this next event? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Where is it? So that is huge. If you can talk to your vendors on what their next events are, you can get. I did that. That's how I kind of got involved with it. One snowballed after another one. They got me involved in another organization. Then they got me involved in a different organization in Georgia, which is where Beamy knows I was in Georgia with a different organization. But they're all about health and wellness, alternative medicine, different doctor groups. But they're really, you do have to dig a little. You have to kind of research, and you definitely don't want to waste your time. I hate to say waste your time, because you're never wasting your time, even if you get one or two people. But if you want more bang for your buck, you should never pay much money for them. Let me put that out there. They should be reasonably priced. I had one totally free that I got the most out of recently in the Panhandle. I did probably 9 events in the last 2 weeks, big events, which is exhausting. But I did not pay much for I did not pay much for each one. There's a limit I will do, and I'm talking like 150. I'm talking pretty low price for what you get. So be careful about this. Don't, just because they're more, like, if you see ones that are really huge, I personally wouldn't do them. I like the 1 to 200 max, because the bigger ones, you'll notice that big events, they just go by and want free stuff. You don't really get to talk to people. You can't really connect as much. When they're little smaller groups, you get to talk to them one-on-one. You can see what their ailments are. They're not just going to grab samples. They're really interested in what you have to offer. And so I like the little bit smaller events. And I would never pay a whole lot of money, because you don't need to. There's no reason you need to. There really isn't.
Can I just finish?
About, is it vendors or participants that you said 200 on?
Participants. Oh no, never many. No, my vendor. No, there's never more than probably 15 vendors at any ones that I do. Never. It's very. And I know that sounds funny, but those are the most productive ones. I will tell you, the most productive.
Can I finish? Just one more question. And I totally agree with you, because smaller events are better. When you go to these large ones, which I've done, people are just collecting samples.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
So when you're taking the order, and this is what I'm curious about, it sounds like you're talking about their personal use. What about talking about how they would use it in their office? Are you going into that at the table?
Yes, I actually am. As a matter of fact, I think we signed up, I'm thinking 8 to 10 doctor's offices. And I talked to each one individually about that. And basically, they do the personal. And then actually, we had one call in last night. Matter of fact, we patched her, and she said her patches work so well. I did not realize she was a functional doctor. And she's like, I need to get these in my client's hands. How do I do it? Actually, right now, like literally today, I'm getting a proposal up. I'm doing a cost analysis on her, because she wanted to see, I'm trying to break out the diamond kit first, so she can understand that she can get the price per sleeve down a little bit. So, so she can. So I did that for another company, like a drip bars and stuff like that I'm working with. But basically, I do see that, especially with these kind of events, they are, and I put out there right away, I said, there's another side. I said, I would love for you to be able to hold this in your office for your clients to get the benefits that you're feeling today as well. How do you feel about that? And literally, they're all like, I think that's a great idea. Let's get together and see. And I tell them I can help them with the display. I can help them with the logistics of it. And I tell them, you want to keep some on hand. So I go through everything as a retail doctor's office, but we had quite a few sign up for their offices this weekend. And the whole thing, within the events that I did, we had at least 3 or 4 in each event that wanted to set up their office.
Thank you, Mary Lou, for that. Thank you for those great questions, Beamy. So it is 6:41, and because we have a new program rocking in right behind us every Tuesday now with Marcy and Peter, we are going to be shutting down the questions and I'm going to kick it to Onyx for a minute, and then we have something special.
Perfect.
Can I
Mary
say
Lou?
something real quick, Onyx?
Of course, sweetie pie.
No, because just because Sheila just mentioned it, but I will tell you the follow-up is so critical on these events because you have to follow up pretty quickly. And we have been going into the workroom, and between the belly and the workroom, it's been the accountability to be focused for that hour is huge. We have seen a growth that between the belly and the workroom. I think that's what's really made this all these enrollments, even the follow-up of people getting all the like new enrollments constantly from the workroom, because it holds people accountable. And this system has been amazing for my team, and my team loves it, and they're all showing up on it.
Awesome.
Yes.
So that was just a fantastic share today, Mary Lou. Thank you so much. I'm hoping somebody will be able to figure out how to get me the forms or the sheets that you were talking about. I'll put that on the Facebook page for everyone. So I'll text you after the call if that's great.
Okay.
We'll figure out the technology.
Thank you guys.
It was just fantastic. Thank you. So before we go though, I wanted to share something. This is my sister, you all. This is Carolyn. So a lot of you all prayed with me for her, whatever it was, a year and a half ago.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we've been able to spend like the last 10 days together. It's been really special. And she introduced me to a song. And I wanted to share it with all of you today. I think it'll make you all smile. Every time I hear it, it makes me smile. So I thought we would share it today.
I sing it every day.
Every single day.
Every day. I
Wait
sing
to
it
hear
on
the
top of my
lyrics.
lungs. It's easy and fun. I won't sing it for you all now. I spare you that.
All right, Sheila, how we doing? We all teed up?
Okay, let me get it rolling here.
Yay. Wow, right? So I find I'm walking around going, cover me with sunshine. And then this one says,
Shower me with good times
tell me that the world's been spinning
since the beginning.
and everything's going to be all right. What a fun show. Thank you, Mary Lou. You really blessed us. It was beautiful. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for sharing everything with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila, for what you do for us. Thank you, Beamy and Sandy and Peter and Marcy and oh my gosh, Patsy and everybody that shows up every night and participates in the team Zooms and leads the calls for everyone. Just what a wonderful team we have. It's a blessing. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic week. We had a huge corporate week last month and a biggest corporate week ever last week. So we're going to just keep on rocking. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Next week,
Bye.
thank you. Bye, Mary Lou. Thank you.
Bye, Mary Lou, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary Lou. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheila.
Make sure you guys get on the list for rooms. If you don't have a convention room, go to the post in Facebook and put your name on that list for a room, okay? People will join up.
Sheila, there's another call right now with Marcy.
There is a call coming on with Marcy. It's about the the office training program where they're coming in and helping people do it. Okay.
Got it. Thank
Teaching how to
I
train.
was on it yesterday. It was very productive.
So yeah, so get on there. It's a training part today, but that is coming right up behind us. So
Business Zoom follows
get
at
in there.
11, Sheila.
And Vicki Mills, it's Quantum Field Onyx Coale Team, I think is the name of the Facebook group. Quantum Field. Okay, so go on in there. But I'm looking for roommates. I have a room. You need a room, get your name on that list, okay? Take care, everybody. Much love.
Bye.
Bye.